And as we continue to celebrate International Women's Day and, of course, International Women's Month in the month of March, we are going to be joined by an author who has a book about relationships. It's actually called RelationSHIFT, a book created to help women understand how to take control of their lives so that they can live happy, healthy, and whole. And as, of course, we look forward to International Women's Day on Wednesday, we are joined by the author. Her name is Miss Ann Marie Emmanuel. Miss Ann Marie Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning to you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I'm excited to be here.
I mean, I'm happy to have you here as well, because I want to get into the title of that book, RelationSHIFT. But before we get there, of course, tell me a bit about yourself. Who is Ann Marie Noel? Well, Ann Marie Emmanuel.
So I am a relationship and self-love coach. I host international women's retreats, and I am the author of 3 books, including the one that we're going to discuss today, RelationSHIFT.
Nice. Were you always, or did you always have a passion for writing? Did you always want to become an author?
Actually, it was something on the back burner of my thoughts.
Right.
And I think in the pandemic, something came up where I felt the need to start writing.
Nice. And so the 3 books that you have, it was written during the pandemic? Or?
Yes, the first one in 2020, and then 2021, I did the second one, and then this one.
Nice. So we have RelationSHIFT. It's a very, very interesting title. Tell me how you came up with the title, first of all, and tell us what the book is really about.
Okay, so I get that a lot. People always talk about the title. So while I was writing the manuscript, I had several titles for the book. And as I went along, I just kept changing those titles. But somewhere halfway, halfway through the book, realizing all of the shifts that took place as I was writing about those shifts that took place in my life, I realized that this book has to be called RelationSHIFT, because there were so many shifts in mindsets and perspectives that I went through, especially in the area of how I was relating to myself and others. So that's when I got the download, RelationSHIFT.
Nice. And does the book deal with that shift? Because I heard that you said, you know, while you were writing the book, you were thinking about the shifts that's happening in your life. So is this a personal story?
Yes.
Is it that you're using your personal story to help and empower women?
Yes. The book chronicles my journey from the time I left my good government job in the United States.
I love how you said that, my good government job.
I know, because people are always like, keep your good government job.
Keep that stability, right?
Yes. So it was so hard to walk away from that, because the benefits were good, the salary was good. But that's when I left to return to Trinidad after 44 years of living in the States.
And Marie, I have to ask you, why did you leave your good government job in the U.S.?
Because, again, you know, I had it all. I had everything that I wanted, but there was that inner lack that I was feeling. And I really, really had to step out on a limb and do something before it was too late that would bring in a lush to my life. So it was a really bold move, but somehow I knew that I had to make that move, because I had like I said, I had accomplished so much, but I still wasn't feeling that soul satisfaction.
What got you to the place when you, decided to make that step? And then how did you get back that fullness in your life after experiencing that lack for that length of time?
I had participated in a program called Landmark Education that really set me on a trajectory for success, because that program showed me that I can create the life that I want for myself. So after that program, I started looking at all the areas of my life that wasn't working. And I started to realize that in career, relationships, all of those areas, I really didn't have a conscious participation in choosing those. It just came because of experiences and certain things that happened in my life. So in starting to create the life that I want for myself, I asked myself, where do I want to live? What kind of place do I want to wake up in every morning? What environment do I want to live in? How sustainable I want my life to be? And those are the things that caused me to say, what I have is not it.
Yeah. So then what genre would you place this in? Is this a self-help? Is it an autobiography?
It's a self-help.
It's a self-help book, using your examples,
using
to help women as
all
well.
of the experiences that I had on that journey of returning to Trinidad and going through all the challenges and the setbacks and all of the intimate stories that I have that helped me to move from that place of inner lack to Inner Lush. I really wanted to chronicle that so others can see how they too can do that.
And so how are the chapters created? Is it that we have a chapter 1 and there's an exercise to do at the end? Is it that sort of interactive sort of book?
Yes, so it's really, the reader gets to participate in their own transformation. After each chapter, there are questions, thought-provoking questions that would have them sit down and really take a look at their life and see how they can. Because a lot of times we think we're okay, everything is fine, but when you start asking those thought-provoking questions, it forces you to realize that, like the same thing that happened with me, like, you know, this is really not working for me. This is really not what I chose. Yeah. Yes.
I'm listening to you and I'm just thinking, you know, it's shaping up to be a very interesting book. Now, of course, there's a saying that, you know, if you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else, right? I mean, you can't pour from an empty pot. And so I wanted to get your thoughts on that, because do you believe that we should be full, or we should be full to a certain capacity, or do you believe that we need to love ourselves and know who we are before we can show that type of love to somebody else?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because when you start, most of the times in society, we start giving and loving other people when we have a half full cup, or sometimes an empty cup. You know, and you can't do that, because when you're in the frequency of self-love, you're actually connected to that higher intelligence, and that's the source of love. So we're always filling up our cups with love, and then we give from the overflow.
But then how do we fill ourselves with love? How do we know what truly loving ourselves look like?
Truly loving yourself, self-love is love directed to yourself, and self-love is the foundation by which you're connected to your heart, your mind, your body, and your soul. So when you start, it's a daily practice. It's something you have to choose, and then you have to practice daily. You have to take a look at what you're doing for your body. Are you treating your body as a temple? Are you getting the exercise that you need? Are you getting the rest that you need? Are you feeding your body with nutritious foods? And a lot of times we know all of this, right? But what stops us from doing this? And that's where the work that I do is we deal with those areas of life that you don't know, and the personalities that are getting in the way of you actually loving yourself. Because I think everyone knows how to love themselves.
But that's the thing, how do we make that shift? Because we know, right? As you mentioned, some people don't know that they don't know. But some people know. They know they should be getting up early in mornings and working on their passion.
Right.
They know they should be having at least 30 minutes of exercise in the afternoon or in the morning. But then how do you make that shift from where you are now to where you want to be?
You have to be willing to inquire about those things that you don't know that's running your life. And that's the area that I deal with. I deal with the 13 personalities that we have as human beings, and I don't care who you are. As a human being, we all have personalities that's running beneath the subconscious, that's running our lives. And you have to be willing to say, I don't know, but I am curious to find out what's going on. What are my fears and insecurities that's happening beneath the surface of my life? And that's where it starts. Once you do that, then you have to be willing to invest in yourself, because you're not going to get this information out there. You have to either hire a coach or do some program. There are lots of programs now where they are teaching you to go within, to do the shadow work, and to discover your fears and insecurities. And then you have to be willing to do the work, because I have some clients who, yeah, I know that this is happening and I want to know, and when they find out, then they are afraid to go deeper into, really getting beneath and overcoming these fears and insecurities.
Yeah. Wow. So it's a real sort of introspective look you have to take at yourself and realize this is not working for me and I have to shift.
And it's a work in progress.
Yes.
It's not something that you do for a month or 2 months and say, I got it. It's a lifetime work in progress.
Yeah. Now, how can we get a copy of the book, and then how can we also get in contact with you if any of our viewers are looking and they want to get in contact with you?
The book is available on Amazon.com and also from my website, www.passionkairos.com.
Passion?
Passion Kairos.
Spell it for us.
So that's PASSIONKAIROS.com.
And it's also on the screen as well. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and so you can get the book from there as well. Also, you can stay tuned on my social media platforms, which is at Passion Kairos, at PASSION KAIROS. So that would be for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
And Anne Marie, before you go, if you can give us one quote to help us, be able to make that shift. One quote, one word, one anything that can help us during this week and beyond. What would that be?
One of my favorite catchphrases is everything begins and ends with self-love. And once you understand that, everything that you're about to do in life, it has to be filtered through that tiny circle of how much you're connected to your authentic self. So that's the platform that I would like people to stand on. So do the work to really get to the bottom of the truth of who you are, and to love yourself in a way that you never thought possible.
And that's where we're going to leave it for now. Anne Marie,
yes.
Pleasure meeting you. It really was a pleasure meeting you. All the best with your book, and I do hope our viewers either connect with you online, get your book, or do both. So thank you so much for joining us.
And happy International Women's Month to everyone.
And that was author and, of course, life coach, Miss Ann Marie Emmanuel, who is a self-love coach, just giving us some tips on how we can love ourselves and how we can make that shift in our lives. In the Now Morning Show, we're going to take a break and be right back. Stay with us.